Welcome back to another episode of the Homegrown Hustle Podcast. I'm here with Zac Gleason, founder of Hackamore Brewing here in Chan. Awesome brewery. This space is freaking killer, bro.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us today and letting us have this event. So, tell me a little bit about why you chose to make that move from property management into brewing.
For sure.
It seems like a smart move when I think about it, but tell me what you were thinking about.
Not a lot of people doing that probably. Yeah, I just was always really entrepreneurial in spirits and went to school, business school, went for marketing. Always just really interested and found marketing is really kind of where I get creative and I let that, I can scratch that creative itch, pair that with beer. I love creating fun names and just getting excited about that, releasing beers and creating events around that and everything like that. But so that's a big part of it.
Time with your family you were talking about earlier.
So it just, in my career that I was in, it just got to be so demanding and working really hard for someone else's dream, right? So I got to this point where I just asked my wife, I'm like, are you cool? Can I start my own business? And she gave me all the support. It was a grind. It was a grind. It was hard. So October of 21 is when I started the LLC. So I started the process of starting my business. And October 21, and then we opened in April 23. So a year and a half of me making a salary. Yeah. We lived off of my wife's salary. We exhausted
had to grind for a while.
Yeah, grind. I mean, it was the business startup process. We got this thing open as quick as we could in the right way. After we got that open, it was very relieving and it was really fun, but the grind doesn't stop. It's a tough business.
It's just getting started, baby. Yeah. That's awesome. So you've been open for about a year now, and you talked to me earlier about some of the thought you put into the space. People in the beer community, they're in the community, right? You seem to be one of those guys just like myself, where you've been to a brewery or two. So what were some of the things you were thinking about when you came into the community here and you said, yep, this is the spot I want to do this?
Yeah, so I looked all over the Twin Cities. I mean, I did. I looked in Northeast, I looked in St. Paul, Minneapolis, suburbs all over. And I really wanted to be in a high traffic area, but I want the vision of the brewery is that I wanted it to be an elevated brewery with a little bit more upscale vibe than typical, right? So I was trying to create something that wasn't out there. I mean, there are definitely very nice breweries, but I was trying to create kind of an upscale feel brewery. And, I took some elements from my prior career. We would build multifamily apartments and we would stuff them with as many amenities as we could. Amenities bring people like stuff to do. So that's why we have a golf simulator. We have lots of games. We do tons and tons of live music, just arcade games. We're just trying to create a place for something for them to come do.
And the revenue model is really we're open these hours. We have this much space.
Yeah.
How do we keep that packed?
Yes.
Keep all the time. Because when it's packed, we're selling beer, and that's the revenue driver.
Yeah, exactly. And so I created this to be nice. I put it into a neighborhood that I did a lot of homework on the neighborhood, right? So I live in Eden Prairie. We're on the border of Eden Prairie and Chanhassen here, but there is nothing around us that has a bar to go to.
It's kind of,
If you want to go to a bar around here, you got to go to a corporate chain restaurant bar. That's about it. And that I knew that if we put this right here, it would give something for our area to come do. And I was right. And then this has become a very good spot for having birthday parties, having happy hours and organized events for sports associations and just all the stuff. So we've found a really great niche with that as well. So that keeping the place full.
And the community has been really receptive to it too, right? So we're right here in Chanhassen, right? Technically.
Yes.
It's accessible from pretty much everywhere because it's right in the main rip, right? So what are some of the things that the community has done to help support what you're doing? What are some of the things that you see that reassures that decision to come here?
We're really lucky where we're located. Like you just said, we're we're in Chanhassen. I'm right on the border of Eden Prairie. All the homes in this area, this is actually Eden Prairie School District, but we are only miles, like literally like 1 and 2 miles away from Chaska, Shakopee, Minnetonka, Eden Prairie, Victoria is a couple more miles away. So to answer your question, every single one of those cities in one way or another we've interacted with. Lots and lots of sports associations, Chamber of Commerce, is stuff like that coming up and supporting us, and then of having events here too. It's been fabulous.
Tell me about some of the events that you've had a lot of success with.
We do. I mean, we've done some really, really fun stuff, but within the community, we've hosted like purse bingos. We'll pack the place with purse bingos.
Heck yeah! Shout out to purses. Are they fancy purses?
Yeah, and then we'll usually throw some dude stuff in there, so prizes for both. But we've done that as fundraisers too. So like that was for Ridgeview Foundation, and it feels super good to pack the place, have a successful event, and be able to donate back to your community like that.
That's amazing, dude.
So we do a lot of that.
The power of community and collaboration, working with Broken Clock when we were first starting that up, like that's part of the core values we had when we built that. And like it's some of what I still kind of stand on with Abracadabra in my business, but like the success that comes from the companies that really embrace that type of stuff, like it's super powerful, right? Because like now it's more than just you. It's like this community and these people that are all supporting this kind of this initiative or this movement. Right. Yeah, and that's awesome. Like you're a year in, you're crushing it right now, right?
Yeah, thank you.
This event's awesome. Marigold and the rest of the sponsors like made it possible. I don't know who's winning the bags tournament out there right now, but so like, do you have like vision? Like, are you distributing right now, or is it
we do a little self-distribution? So we're in
tough. That part of the business is tough, man.
Yeah. So it was never really a vision of mine to do a lot of distribution. We do what I like to say is a taproom experience. So we have some accounts. So we have about a dozen restaurant and bar accounts, and they're just things that are pretty hyper local.
So creating density and like driving business back to here where you get a better ROI. It's just about
the taproom experience here. I'm trying to bring people here, have fun beers, have fun times, come up with cool events, get people over here. So that's kind of what we're all about.
For sure. So like, what do you have in the pipeline for this summer then? Like we're just getting to like the time to do shit like that, right? So like, what do you got working?
It's been 1 year and 2 weeks. We just turned 1.
Congrats, man. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah. So I'm super proud of that. But in that year's time, we were really able to create what we know for seasonality. What are the trends going to be like in certain months, certain holidays, certain days?
From a purchasing standpoint, right?
So like just to know. And then we create events. We did some events last year, but we doubled down. We have 3 times more coming up this summer. We have a huge, so Adam is our events coordinator here. And he created an entire summer concert series. So we have pretty much, for the most part, almost all local original artists from around the Twin Cities playing in a music series, which will have music pretty much a couple times a week, mostly weekends. We have a big stage in the back. So we do a lot of music. So we got some super fun artists, and then we have a nice big parking lot here. So we do a lot of outdoor events. You have to park on the road. Yeah. Nice. So we have tons of parking, but we do a lot of outdoor big parties, rope off the parking lot, play music out there, beer tent,
and the community embraces that too,
we'll
right?
Pack the whole place out there.
Like Chanhassen is kind of Chanhappening, but like kind of it's also Chan corny. We need some more stuff to do, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's like, it's cool to see this coming into the area, right? Because I think with the young, like it's a younger area now, right? The communities are younger. Like it turns into a daycare sometimes when
So that's a really good point. Dell Road, which we sit on, there's thousands of homes down here. And they've all turned over. They're all families. Yep. There's not, the original homeowners have moved. Like these are all families with young kids coming up. They embrace us. They come here. We definitely are. We have a very family friendly vibe. and we embrace that. I personally have 2 young children, 8 and 4-year-old boys, and we've never been scared to, like, I mean, I've been to every brewery in the state. We're not scared to bring our children there because breweries typically are very family friendly.
They're like, hey,
right?
Pop, we know you need a beer, man. We're going to make it so your kids don't burn this place down.
So, we try to create some amenities for the kids as well. So we have some stuff for the kids to do in here and make them want to come here, right? So we have events even that are surrounded by like having a lot of stuff for kids.
Yeah, it's important because then you can bring people in. Yeah. So like, what's your favorite beer to brew?
So my favorite beer is probably Let's Go Hazy, which is what you're drinking.
I think that's this one, yeah.
So Let's Go Hazy is our #1 selling beer.
It's fire. That's what it is.
Thank you.
This shit is gas.
It's a hazy IPA. It's 6.5% Sabro and Strata hops. It's been fun. This one sells like crazy. We called it Let's Go Hazy off of the song Let's Go Crazy from Prince. I did not grow up in an era really like listening to Prince. So I went to all these events before we opened, and the first thing, you're in Chanhassen? You have a Prince beer? And I was like, no, I don't.
Can I tell you something that's super crazy? You're probably not going to believe me, but so, Paisley Park, right? So my grandfather was actually in charge of the construction of that entire place. Like, swear to God, like he ran the whole site. That, and now that I think about it, Chanhassen High School right down the way, same thing. Like, he was the site soup for all that. So like Chanhassen community, my grandfather passed away a few years ago, but like when I drive past those places, like I think about him a little bit. And like with Prince especially, like there is so many human beings that are attached to Chanhassen because of that.
Right.
And that, from a business growth standpoint, you'd kind of be silly not to.
And that's how we fell on that. So
it's a great name.
The amount of people. So I want to just tell a little story about that whole process because it's pretty good. All the people were like, you got to have a Prince beer. So we named our Hazy, Let's Go Hazy, off of the song Let's Go Crazy. Paisley Park's like a mile away. Yeah. I was a little bit worried about getting sued by them because of the name. And I'm like, they're super close. Like, the logo of the beer looks just like Prince. Like, it's a little, that right there. See that? It's meant to look like Prince. So Paisley Park, since I've actually created a really great relationship with them, we've done events here with them and stuff. Awesome. We have their full blessing. So they love it. They think it's super cool. But I had kind of this whole plan cooked up in my head. And should they have sued us and they're like, sent us a cease and desist to get rid of the name, I already had
beer formerly known.
You know it. Exactly.
That's so smart.
I was going to call it the beer formerly known as Let's Go Hazy, and it would have been even better.
They should have done it just for that.
So we never needed to do that, but it's been great working with them. We've done some fun events. We're going to do some more going forward, too.
That's awesome, man. I mean, this community is awesome. Like, breweries in, like, these type of, I don't know, bedroom communities, if you want to call them that. Like, we need them. We don't need a bunch in Northeast Minneapolis. We need them out, like, where we don't have to drive that far to get there. Because, like, one of the bigger reasons that I couldn't keep going to Broken Clock like I did when I was in college and coming out of that, I had kids, man. Yeah. I still like beer, though. Yeah. And you're serving that community with a lot of intent behind it, which I think is really smart. So, like, in 5 years, where do you see Hackamore?
Yeah, so 5-year plan is to just grow more here, maybe bring on a few more accounts, maybe upgrade our system size, and really continue just creating the best taproom experience that we can here.
That's awesome.
We love the area that we're in. We love our community. Just keep doing what we're doing and do more of it, like more events. I love doing events. Like, obviously I've talked about that a whole bunch, but I like being here. I like meeting everyone that comes in. Yeah, that's really the goal, is just make that taproom experience the best we can. It's amazing. Well, and it starts with the beer, and I'm kind of a beer snob a little bit, and it does not suck. Yeah, thank you very much. There's some breweries that are out there. They've been open for a long time.
absolutely terrible beer, and everyone kind of knows it, but we still
you're
go
a beer
there.
guy, you know that. And before we opened, I knew that, and I was very blessed as far as our head brewer. So our head brewer is my cousin. His name is Nick Flies. He's our head brewer. We used to homebrew together for years. So Nick took it more serious and got into the beer industry
For sure.
and he's been brewing professionally for other breweries for 10 years. And
Awesome.
when we opened this, it was natural that he was going to be the head brewer. So he came with a whole bunch of experience. It wasn't just like I was home brewing all by myself and started to try to brew professionally. That's where
There's
people
not like hair in the beer.
yeah. That's where people swing and miss a little bit, you know. So knew that we had to come out the gate swinging with good beer and
Knocked it out of the park, man.
yeah.
I mean, so people that want to find you, like, or just follow you, like, what's the social media you got? Like,
so it's at Hackamore Brewing. You can pretty much find us on every single platform.
and then
Instagram.
when it comes to like hosting
all
an
that.
event here, is that the best way to reach out to you too, or
the
your website?
best way to reach out would be to email us at events@hackamorebrewing.com.
Heck yeah.
And we do have an events manager that takes care of everything.
Just for that, to make sure that
Yeah.
experience is good.
Absolutely.
That's awesome, man. Well, thanks again for coming on,
Yeah,
dude.
thank you. Cheers.
Cheers. Great beer.
Thanks,
Great
man.
space.
Appreciate
Thanks
it.
again, man. Thanks again for joining us on Homegrown Hustle. Our local business community thrives because of the brilliant leaders right here in our backyard. And it's been an absolute privilege to provide them with a platform to share their invaluable expertise. Stay tuned for more insight, wisdom, and inspiration from our local business champions. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review us on your favorite podcast platform. Together, we'll continue to nurture and expand our homegrown success stories. Matt Eichmann signing off until our next insightful episode.